Today I fucked up by looking my work's phone search history. I work in a tiny hospital where one nurse at night needs to be with a phone pager in case they need her in other ward. Last week it was me. I googled some information a patient gave me, so when I proceeded to erase the history, to my surprise I discovered porn. Exact searches, webs. All the same theme. At first I suspected other nurses who worked the same kind of night shift, but because the type of porn I started to suspect the porter that are all men. I've been the past week looking each ward's phone to see if my theory is right. No success until today. For RT8 Ward 3 AM I pick up the porter's phone and there it is, tons and tons of porn. The same webs, exact searches every day except weekends where there is no porter. The problem now is that I DK what to do. Should I warn the hospital, other co-workers, the supervisor? TLD, I went to erase a search in the hospital's phone and ended up discovering tons of porn. Edit 1. The phone is a pager, it's not a personal phone. It's shared. Edit 2. Kinda problematic porn. No kink shame here, but the exact searches all by the kinds of hidden cameras, hospital roleplay, doing X in front of women, real videos, public molesting. Edit 3. Daytime watchman, the one who helps cleaning the patient, getting from the bed to the chair, getting up if the patient falls. IDK, what is the correct term? Edit 4. Changed watchman to the term I was looking for, orderly or porter. Some spelling added porn type for context. At least watch it on your own phone. Sheesh, where are the manners? I surprised you all missed the real important thing here. Now we know who watches the watchman. People are really giving OP shit for discovering their coworker is watching porn constantly at their workplace. My god, this is truly Reddit. A workplace is not a place to be watching porn. Especially in a hospital. Can you work out from the phone history who was on shift at those times? Is there a mortuary? If so, this could be a real biggie. You, or somebody further up the pay scale, might want to check the integrity of any cold hotties in the mortuary storage drawers that coincide with the culprit's shift patterns. Just make sure you get your gold star for doing work nobody asked you to. Edit. Just read your description of the search history. In this context that's concerning and you should have reported it immediately instead of looking by yourself. You absolutely should report it. It's one thing to watch porn on your own phone during working hours, which is questionable to say the least. But doing it on the hospital phone just crosses another boundary. Perverse shit. Yes, you should warn your coworkers that someone has been going through all the phones looking for their search histories. Report it. These kinds of thoughts while having contact with drugged, sedated, sick women is terrifying. The nature of the porn makes this actually really fucking serious. Definitely report it to someone. Is there a manager you feel comfortable to confide in? Or a way to contact a head office? If you're scared about retaliation, you could potentially set up a fresh email address to send an anonymous message to head office. These are shared phones, used for ward rounds and patient care. Staff should not be using them to look up pornography. There is a potential for the phones to get infected. I'm sure it's against policy at the very least. Maybe slip a note onto the manager's desk printed informing them that staff have been doing the above. No names, no times, just that it has been happening. That way a reminder can be sent out to all staff. First, clean that phone thoroughly. Report it immediately. Do not come to Reddit for advice on porn watching behaviors. It is always effed up advice, no matter the subreddit. I mean, we should be able to look at a little porn at work. I mean, is looking at it illegal in some way? Or just frowned upon because he's at work? If it's the middle of the night, is he neglecting his duties? If he isn't hurting anyone, I'd let it go. If it's legal issues, Turn him in. Turn it into a supervisor or HR. Yeah. You gotta report it. Sorry. Report to HR, advise that you were so shocked you deleted the porn history straight away. HR should then put out a memo advising that the devices are for work purposes only and those found breaking those rules may face disciplinary action. I was sent to fetch a light bulb, and caught a coworker in the basement jerking off. I told my boss and years later I still regret it. Don't you have an IT tech that monitors their network? There should be firewalls and software that specifically blocks anything spyware, malware, ransomware related. Especially porn. Do management a solid and put that pager in a baggie before handing it over. You probably ought to report it if for no other reason than you have accessed that phone pager, and if someone else reports it you don't want to be swept up in the investigation. This isn't just a patient safety issue, but it's also a possible vector for computer attacks against the hospital if that phone has access to the Wi-Fi network and not just cell data. OP, I might even recommend turning it into Internal Investigation Authority, given the context of the searches. Specifically, the hidden camera phrase would warrant special investigation to ensure there's no activity happening in-house. You gotta report inappropriate work behavior. Or he'll keep doing it. After reading what the searches are, you absolutely, 100 need to inform someone and make sure it's dealt with. Hospitals are full of vulnerable people and this person is a risk to them. Don't be complicit. Edit, I'm actually shocked and disgusted that this has been downvoted so many times. Votes will right up and right back down again. I just can't get my head around anyone who thinks this behavior isn't a massive red flag. Shame on you all. Please report this. This is highly inappropriate for someone to be looking at that material at work, and given your comments on what it is, there could be abusive toward vulnerable people in their care. Imagine you didn't say anything to your boss and found out they were abusive to someone, how awful you'd feel. And if he's not abusive and is innocent, then he shouldn't be looking at porn on a work phone during work. That's so fucking weird. Fuck that guy, report him. The fact that the guy works in a hospital around vulnerable people and has problematic videos about hidden cameras and molestation is a huge red flag. This person works in a hospital to gain access to victims. Go to admin with this immediately before someone gets hurt. Was it good porn? I'm sorry, you need to report this. Simply because of the sort of porn, it's very specific to the role that person is in, and whilst maybe it's just what gets them off, there's a small risk they're planning on targeting a vulnerable person and making it real. Be safe and look after yourself. Also, I'm a night shift carer. Who the fuck is getting the time to fap on the night shift? Leave a little note or something, so that they know that someone knows. It's bad, but not a reason to get fired IMO. Which could be happening. Did I read that part right, that you snooped through several co-workers' phones? My dude, if that's true, you've done more wrong than the porn watcher. In the UK we call the watchman a hospital porter, not sure in any other countries. Report it. At least you will be excluded from the investigation for this. It will eventually be discovered anyway. It's unprofessional, potentially puts patients at risk via cross-infection, and is a total breach of any employment contract. Don't feel bad that someone will lose their job. Feel good that the place you work will become a better place for your care. GIF Giphy FSOKDBWDBILBJHTXZD downsized. Contact the IT team and ask them to change the DNS for all Wi-Fi to one that blocks those 1.1.1.3 and 1.0.0.3 has the same protections as the first two, but also has a built-in filter to block access to sites with adult content. It is a simple thing, and it also blocks known malware websites and things of those natures. This should be a simple process and does not need to be publicly announced. Personally, if it isn't anything work-related, I would just tell the person that I found the searches and to be more careful, or watch it on his own phone. But seeing as he works in a hospital and has access to vulnerable people overnight time with no one else around and has been searching similar topics of porn, I'd report it to your manager and let them deal with it. Boss makes $1, I make a dime, that's why I come on company time. Pretty much all sexually active men look at porn. If you have a male partner, he does too. It's more of a professional issue than a psychological one. Maybe drop a hint. Unless it's illegal stuff, the guy doesn't deserve to lose his livelihood over it. From a purely self-arousal point of view, it's directly equivalent to a woman reading a romance novel or watching Twilight. I wouldn't report